सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणि नमोस्तुते. Just 2 weeks before, we started a discussion on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We started with a question where Master Mahashaya asked Sri Ramakrishna, how can we fix the mind on God? Answering this question, Sri Ramakrishna gave 4 Mahavakyas. Actually, Mahavakyas comes in Vedanta Upanishad, Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi Pragnanam Brahma. These are all called the Mahavakyas in Upanishads. But in Bhakti Vedanta, we consider the words of Sri Ramakrishna, especially the teaching, the first teaching given to Master Mahashaya, as the Mahavakya. How can we fix the mind on God? This was the question. So Thakur told 4 things. First is Nama Guna Kirtan, that is Nama Japa. Second is seeking the company of a holy man. Third, solitude, seeking solitude. And finally, discrimination, that is Viveka, Sat Asat Vichara. We had a little discussion with respect to Nama Japa. That too briefly, we cannot explain everything, it is a question of experience. But still, we could discuss something on Nama Japa last Sunday. This Sunday, I want to just discuss the company of holy men, the second part of Sri Ramakrishna's message. Plainly speaking, or to be frankly speaking, strictly speaking, spiritual life is the question of experience. However much we may talk, we may discuss, it is all something very easy to hear. But if somebody is really interested, it is the question of experience. All these scriptures are there only to give the Shraddha, the faith. At present, we are in the condition of belief and opinion. There is a lot of difference between belief, opinion and faith. We should be very clear in thoughts. The moment faith arises in a man, he becomes a devotee. Till that time, he is on the plane of belief. Today he believes something, tomorrow his opinion changes, his belief changes, he starts disbelieving the God himself. The moment he sees so many miseries in this world, he lacks faith, or he stands on the plane of belief and disbelieves the mercy of God himself. So, to strengthen the faith, all these scriptures talk discussions. Practically, frankly speaking, nothing of this sort is necessary for a true devotee. But we ordinary mortals in this world, to float ourselves on the Bhavasagara, we need all these discussions just to carry on. Here, I gave the introduction to Nama Japa. Second, I am just going to read Sri Ramakrishna's message from the Gospel, wherein a devotee is questioning Sri Ramakrishna. Devotee: Sir, is it necessary to have a guru? Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, many need a guru, but a man must have faith in the guru's words. He succeeds in spiritual life by looking on his guru as God himself. Therefore, the Vaishnavas speak of Guru, Krishna and Vaishnava. One should constantly repeat the name of God. The name of God is highly effective in the Kali Yuga. The practice of yoga is not possible in the age, for the life of man depends on food. Clap your hands while repeating God's name and the birds of your sin will fly away. These very words will start giving newer meanings as we proceed in spiritual life. Brahmanji Maharaj many times says, suppose somebody says, you do this, you do that, with respect to spiritual life. I am always speaking on spiritual life only, an ideal life, nothing else. Whenever a guru or a known person, a apta, speaks something, some disciplines, the very first thing a ordinary man says, oh, these things are known to us from many times. So many scriptures have told the same thing. Even he is saying the same thing. Until the heart is not fertile, these messages will have no meaning in our lives. These messages will have no meaning in our lives. The moment a little fertility enters the heart, you will start seeing a newer light in the same words of Sri Ramakrishna. Here, the first thing he is saying is the Namajapa, which we have already discussed, but I will give one more story just to strengthen the faith, the belief, and then proceed with the association of holy men. You might have heard the story of Narada, where he himself goes to Narayana and asks the question, Vishnu, how efficacious is your name? I have chanted the name of Narayana so many times, but still there is some sort of doubt in me. Can you solve this problem? Narayana says, the experimental ground for all these devas is this world. So he says, you go to Bhuloka, this Martyaloka, and try yourself, experiment yourself. He came to this earth. Narayana instructed to chant the name Narayana wherever you feel like chanting it. To experiment this, he came and saw a small worm on the ground. He took it and chanted the name Narayana, Narayana. The moment this worm heard this name, maybe it may be having a ear or not, that is secondary, this is story part of it. This worm died. He thought he could not understand the significance. He just went away. Again approached Narayana. He said, can you see a butterfly? Yes. You chant that name near that butterfly. He came near the butterfly, took it and chanted the name Narayana, Narayana. Immediately the butterfly died. Second, again he went to Narayana and asked, then what shall I do now? He said, now can you see a small deer? A deer has given birth to a new calf. You just chant that name in the ear of that small deer. He went and chanted the name of Narayana in the ear of the deer. That very moment, deer died. He was so perplexed. Taking the Narayana, we can become immortal, but these creatures are dying hearing the name of Narayana. He told, okay, now there is a new calf born to a cow. You chant the same Narayana's name in the ear of that calf. He came there and chanted the name of Narayana there, and he saw that calf died too. He could not understand the mystery. Then he straight went to Narayana and said, no more chanting of this name on this earth. Because the moment I am chanting, all these creatures are dying. And they will put the blame on me, not on you. He told, okay, there is a last chance, you do one thing. There is a prince born to the king of Kashi. You go and chant the name in the ear of that boy, baby boy. He says, all these were animals, so I was saved. If this child dies, my head will go away. He told, no, just try the last time. He came to Kashi, saw the baby boy, The king of Kashi was very happy to see Narada Maharshi in his kingdom. He welcomed him and showed his baby boy to him. With great nervousness, he chanted the name of Narayana in the ear of that prince. Immediately, the boy started speaking and told, "Oh great sage, because of your chanting of Narayana's name, I am here today. I was a worm, you chanted the Narayana's name, I became a butterfly. You chanted the name, I became a deer. You chanted the name, I became a calf. You chanted the name, at last I have got this human birth, which is the only instrument on this earth to realize God, which you have provided by chanting the name of Narayana." This story is so wonderful. You see, why should we hear such stories? Many intellectuals may question, is there any authenticity, historicity to such stories? Historicity, authenticity are all on the plane of relativity, not on the plane of absolute reality or with respect to consciousness. To instill the faith, our ancestors have put such stories. You just remember this story when you are in a particular misery of your life. Miseries should come. I say, miseries should come to the people of this world. Then only you will understand the grace of God. Otherwise you cannot understand. One cannot understand. It's a really, I told you, it's a question of experience. Any amount of talking, any amount of discussion, any amount of logic will not bring us anywhere nearer to God. But these are there only to strengthen the belief into faith. Now, I continue. Sri Ramakrishna says, one should always seek the company of holy men. The nearer you approach the Ganges, the cooler the breeze will feel. Again, the nearer you go to a fire, the hotter the air will feel. But one cannot achieve anything through laziness and procrastination. People who desire worldly enjoyment say about spiritual progress, well, it will all happen in time. We shall realize God sometime or other. So, one who procrastinates will procrastinate his thoughts also. Let us do it tomorrow. Why? It's not so urgency. No need, because God has provided many things in this world. We don't find any short fallings. So, some other time we can realize God. But Sri Ramakrishna is focusing one thing. One should always seek the company of holy men. The nearer you approach the Ganges, the cooler the breeze will feel. Here, in another circumstance, Sri Ramakrishna says, we have seen, Mahashra Mahashaya puts a question to Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, how long should we practice sadhana? How long should we follow discipline? Till death. Suppose we are young at 30, 25, till 50 years, 60 years, 80 to 90, till old age should we go on practicing japa without any joy or divine bliss? How long? Sri Ramakrishna says, not so long. Suppose a one man has got a matchstick and firewood. He lights the fire. 20 people can get the heat from that fire. But if one man can light a fire, 20 men can get the heat from that fire. With this example, he is indicating Sri Ramakrishna has already lighted the fire. So we cannot do sadhana, especially the worldly people. Worldly people, I don't mean a householder, a sannyasi. I don't discriminate between a sannyasi and a householder. I speak in the term that we are bound by the concept of body and mind. He is worldly. Don't think that he is a householder and a sannyasi. One who is bound by the concept, by the idea of body and mind. I feel that I am this body, I am X, Y, Z. He is a worldly man. A worldly man, for him, it is very difficult to do sadhana in this Kali Yuga. Sri Ramakrishna puts these same words. So, Sri Ramakrishna says, already I have lighted the fire here. You approach me with all sincerity and you can definitely feel the heat. That is the association of holy men, which is going to instill or give the heat of that holiness. Even if you see the song Ram Nam Ras Pijay Manuva, Ram Ram Ras Pijay Manuva by Meera, where in the very first para she says, Taj Kusang Satsang Bait Nit Hari Charcha Sunu Lijai. She says, you shun the company of the evil, sit in the holy company Nit. Niti means always, not once or twice, Nit, always. And do Hari Charcha. Suppose somebody may ask the question, where to get holy men? The very question is, how can you judge a holy man? Are your minds pure enough to judge a holy man? No, never. Then, if fortunately one can get, it is wonderful. If one cannot get, nothing to bother, we have the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Nothing is holier or purer than this gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And the places like Sri Ramakrishna Mat, like, there are hundreds of places, but one should seek sincerely. So, here, Meera says, Tajakusang satasang bait nit hari charcha sunali jai. Swami Vivekananda puts, each soul is potentially divine. As a nature, we are all perfect, pure to eternity, then how come this necessity of holy men comes? You see, a seed has a potentiality to grow itself into a big tree, but it needs a fertile soil to grow. The fire or the firewood has potential fire in it, but it still needs the association of a fire to awaken the fire in that firewood. In the same way, though each individual as a nature, as a potential reality, he is perfect by himself, Sat Chit Ananda, as a human being, it needs the association of a holy man to rekindle the fire of spirituality, wherein the very necessity is his heart should be fertile. It's a fertile soil. Then only the association will kindle his fireness, spirituality, and bring the joy. So, this association of holy men is most important for all worldly people to gain the knowledge of spirituality. Here, Sri Ramakrishna, continuing, he is saying, man will be free when God, of his own sweet will, calls him to himself. It is like the mother calling the child at mealtime. See the example, such a wonderful, simple example, but reflecting wonderful truth. It is like the mother calling the child at mealtime when he is out playing. When the time comes for setting a man free, God makes him seek the company of holy men. Further, it is God who makes him restless for spiritual life. A neighbor asks, what kind of restlessness, sir? Master, like the restlessness of a clerk who has lost his job. He makes the round of the offices daily and asks whether there is any vacancy. When that restlessness comes, man longs for God. A fop, seated comfortably with one leg over the other, chewing betel leaf and twirling mustaches, a carefree dandi, cannot attain God. Very, very wonderful. If one can really able to study this gospel, you can enjoy yourself sitting in your own room. Here, Sri Ramakrishna is making wonderful statement. He says, when the time comes for setting a man free, when the time comes setting a man free, God makes him seek the company of holy men. He says, such a wonderful example. You see, it is like the mother calling the child at mealtime. Though the child is not interested, he is interested in the play, but still mother knows that he needs food. So mother, though the boy is playing in the ground or playing in this world, still mother calls the boy, gives the food. So he knows when to give, when not to give. If we are in this condition, it shows that we are what we are because we are having that capacity to stay in the state only. So, here, as a mother calls the boy during the meal time, Sri Ramakrishna will definitely call the boy out of the world and make him to seek the company of the holy. To give one wonderful example, during 1918, when Brahmanji Maharaj was one day in Balram Bose's house. It is near Bagh Bazar, a place. So, just after his afternoon lunch, he was taking little siesta, little afternoon rest. He used to sleep very less, maximum 2-3 hours in a day. That's why even in after lunch, he used to take little rest, just like Sri Ramakrishna. Just then, Swami Nirvananandaji Maharaj, you may be knowing, he was the Sevak of Brahmanji Maharaj. He was sitting outside the room of Brahmanji Maharaj. Just then, a small girl, maybe 15-16 years old girl, and her brother came near the room and requested for an interview with Raja Maharaj. Then Nirvananandaji Maharaj said, see, as this is the time of rest for Maharaj, I cannot give you any interview with Maharaj. Hearing these words, she became so sad. Seeing her condition, Nirvananandaji Maharaj became sympathetic and then went inside the room, requested Maharaj for an interview. Maharaj told, see, I am quite old now. I cannot talk immediately after food. Let her come in the evening, let after 2-3 hours. Same thing, Nirvananandaji Maharaj came and conveyed the message to that girl. Hearing this, she started crying and told, because of Sharadanji Maharaj, I have come here to meet Maharaj. Again Nirvananandaji Maharaj came inside the room, requested for an interview and told, it is Sharadanji Maharaj who has sent this girl to you. Hearing the word Sharadanji, Maharaj did not object. He said, let the girl come in. Then she came inside, prostrated before Maharaj. She could not control herself out of emotion, started crying bitterly. Maharaj tried to console the girl, still she started crying bitterly. Then he went to ecstatic mood and told, my dear child, why are you crying? She could not speak. That girl stood in front of Maharaj, saw in one corner of the room, there was a photograph of Sri Ramakrishna. Pointing to that, she told, it is he who asked me to come to you. It is 1918. 1886, Sri Ramakrishna left this mortal body. This is 1918. She is saying, it is he who asked me to come to you. Then she narrates her story. At the age of 14, you should remember, it's a pre-independent India where child marriage existed. Very, very pathetic condition of our country to have such customs in our religion. I don't know why. So, I have studied a little bit history and I could not control myself seeing the condition of those women during that period, and Swamiji has some wonderful statement regarding all this. We should read, definitely one should read. Then she says, I was 14 years old, I was married. Just 2 weeks after my marriage, my husband died. You should see, today the girls and women are independent to go for a work in any government office or IT company, but during those periods, girls were not allowed to go and work independently. This girl, just 14 years old, neither she can stay in in-laws' house, nor come to her parents' house, nor can sustain herself with her own job. What may be the pathetic condition of that girl? She started crying bitterly every day in front of God and used to pray incessantly. You should remember, incessantly, please show me the way, please show me the way, please show me the way. She was doing this for nearly 1 year. After that, one day, in a dream, Sri Ramakrishna appeared and told, you go to Bagh Bazaar, my son stays there, he will give the solution for you. Actually, this girl has never heard of Sri Ramakrishna. You should remember, Sri Ramakrishna's word is there, message is there. Those who are sincere, I will be there with them. Those who are sincere seekers, I will be there to help them. She has not approached Sri Ramakrishna, nor prayed for Sri Ramakrishna, but prayed for their house deity, and Sri Ramakrishna appeared and told, don't worry, go to Bagh Bazaar, my son stays there. Then she saw the vision, but she could not understand who this Mahatma is. At that particular time, she was staying in her in-laws' house. Now, it was quite far away from Bagh Bazaar. Her parents stayed in Toliganj, which is very near to Bagh Bazaar. On some pretext to meet her parents, she came out of in-laws' house and visited her mother and narrated her vision. Fortunately, her mother knew Sri Ramakrishna and read something about Sri Ramakrishna. Then she told, you go to Udbodhan. In Udbodhan, Holy Mother was staying. Sharadanji Maharaj was staying. So she told, you go to Udbodhan, which is also near Balram's Bose house, very next road. She came there, saw Sharadanji Maharaj. She doesn't know any of the monks of Ramakrishna mission. None. She does not know Sri Ramakrishna. Then how can she know the monks of Ramakrishna mission? She just entered Udbodhan, saw Sharat Maharaj, Sharadanji, then asked, Maharaj, this is the condition I am in, and this is the vision I saw. Then Sharda Mataji understood, and then Sharadanji Maharaj sent this girl to Bagh Bazaar. With this story, she has come near to Rakhal Maharaj. She has not seen Rakhal Maharaj. Hearing this story, Rakhal Maharaj was amazed. Sri Ramakrishna is doing his work by himself. We are just tools here to do his commands. Then he gives initiation. Then she leaves the place. There ends one story, first part of the story. Then around 1942 or 43, Nirvanji Maharaj saw one sannyasini in Belur Math, and she herself introduced to Nirvanji Maharaj in Belur Math and told, I am that widow who visited in 1918 at Bagh Bazaar. She became a sannyasi later on. Then for 20 years, she travelled to different pilgrimage centers in India like Kashi, Allahabad, Haridwar, etc. Did severe austerities. Finally, she settled in Kali Ghat, near the Kali temple. She started her own ashrama. She had her disciples. At the end of her life, Just few days before that, her passing away, she asked her disciple to open Almanac Panchanga to see one auspicious day and fixed her death on that day, taking the name of Thakur Ma Swamiji, and asked all her disciples to do prayer and meditation. Taking the name of Thakur Ma and Swamiji, she left this mortal body. That was the association of that lady who sincerely prayed to God, through which Sri Ramakrishna appeared and gave initiation, and she became holy just by the association of holy men. It's not necessary to know Sri Ramakrishna. Even not only this widow, but even if we remember the story of the Tara, who was an actress in Girish Chandra Ghosh Star Theatre, she, after retiring herself from her profession, one day she came to Belur. You should remember this. There's a wonderful history, one book is there by Sahitya Academy, which has published Life of Girish Chandra Ghosh, the wonderful people who have contributed for the field of literature, wherein they have given wonderful newer points which is not there in none of our books published by Ramakrishna Math. He gives one wonderful point there, that Sahitya Academy by Nani Gopal Ghosh or something, if I remember correctly. This theatre activity, just to give the importance of this profession of acting, this theatre activity in the initial stages was limited only to indoor activity. British people used to hire people for dancing and acting during night hours just to enjoy themselves in some resort, just like new people do it nowadays. They used to want to enjoy the night, they used to hire these professionals for acting during night hours. Hence, people who took this profession, the acting, were considered as immoral. But it is Girish Chandra Ghosh who gave a stage for acting, made it into a profession, and brought this immoral to morality, giving them a stage. And at that moment, it is Sri Ramakrishna who visited Star Theatre. He purified the very act of immorality, which public called as immoral, and he entered the Star Theatre, saw the acting of Vinodini, who acted as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even Tara, saw the acting, gave the profession a purity, which still that time was considered as immoral. Girish brought it on the stage, Sri Ramakrishna accepted it, entered the theatre and purified the whole profession. Today acting is a wonderful profession, but during pre-independent period, only the people of low character, immoral people used to take this as a profession. Sri Ramakrishna has purified every path of this age. That's why we need history to study. If we don't study, we cannot understand the relevance of Thakur Ma and Swamiji. So this Tara has come to Belur. A brahmachari saw her. Before his joining days, he has seen her on the stage. Now, the very moment he saw that lady, he just thought she is an immoral woman. This is quite natural for anybody in this earth, on this earth. Then, this Tara approached the brahmachari and asked, "Can I meet Brahmanji Maharaj?" He thought, how come this immoral woman can meet Maharaj, such a wonderful, pure man, pure saint? Just to send her away, he said, "This is not the time to meet Maharaj, better come some other time." But she insisted and told, "You just see whether Maharaj is sitting outside this room, so that I can just see, prostrate and go away." Because of her forcing, he just came. You could see the old President Maharaj. Now today, President Maharaj quarters is near Swamiji's temple. Earlier, it was next to Swami Vivekananda's room. He went upstairs Actually, Maharaj was sitting outside his room waiting for somebody. The moment he saw this brahmachari, he asked, "Anybody waiting for me?" He told, "Maharaj, one lady actress, she is there to meet you." Immediately Maharaj told, "Please bring her here." Then, with all negative ideas in his mind, he came down, asked this Tara to come, and he also followed her to see what Maharaj may say to that lady. She prostrated at the feet of Maharaj, Raja Maharaj. Then Maharaj told, "You better bring some prasad and a nice tea for her." He was so much confused, brahmachari. How can I? Why should I? How can not? How can I? Why should I bring tea, being a brahmachari, to this immoral woman? That was his idea. But still, because Maharaj is telling, he has to obey. He went to prepare tea and other things to bring prasad. By the time he came with the plate, he saw this woman washing the feet of Maharaj with her tears, saying, "Maharaj, is there any way for a fallen woman like me? You know what is in my mind. You know everything. I am in such a condition. Can you save me?" Then Maharaj makes a wonderful statement. Actually, she says Baba in Bengali. Baba, for father, Bengalis they call Baba. Baba, tumi janecho. Baba, tumi sab janecho. Baba, you know everything. The moment Maharaj heard the word Baba, father, he said to this daughter, "Today you have called me Baba. So stay in the world as a daughter of Swami Brahmananda." This is the reminiscences written by Swami Vijayananda, who was at that very spot, and he has heard these words and written the reminiscences. Raja Maharaj says, "You stay in the world as the daughter of Swami Brahmananda." What may be the solace that she would have received hearing the words of Raja Maharaj saying, "Stay in the world as the daughter of Swami Brahmananda." We are not getting that chance. Tara got it. We should always contemplate. These are only incidents, but a light to infinity. That's why I am saying gospel is not something joke. The moment she heard, she wiped the feet with her hairs, stood and was happy, received the tea, etc., went away. But as long she lived in the world, she lived as a daughter of Swami Brahmananda, and she is to address the monks as brothers. Because she considered these brothers are the sons of Brahmananda, I am the daughter of Swami Brahmananda. And whole life was transferred of that Tara. This is the association of holy men. Continuing, Sri Ramakrishna says, he is asking, that devotee is asking the question, can one get this longing for God through frequenting the company of holy men? Still the question persists. He is asking, is it possible to get the longing for God by frequenting holy men? Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, it is possible. But, he makes a statement, but not for a confirmed scoundrel. A sannyasi's kamandalu made of bitter gourd travels with him to the 4 great places of pilgrimage, but still does not lose its bitterness. So he says, Sri Ramakrishna says, we can develop the longing for God by associating ourselves with the company of the holy men. Sri Ramakrishna gives one example. Suppose somebody has taken the profession of medicine. During those times, allopathy was not in vogue. It was a natural medicine wherein they see the nadi, kapha, pitta, vata. Suppose somebody wants to find which nadi, he has to stay with a physician, have some experience, then he will gain the knowledge of this kapha, pitta and vata nadis. In the same way, somebody who wants to know something with respect to absolute reality has to stay with holy men to understand the nadi of divinity. Then the devotee questions, what is the use? What we gain? Sri Ramakrishna says, you will gain discrimination. What is true? What is untrue? You will get that viveka wherein we can see what is real and what is unreal. Though we may study hundreds of books, the moment we are with our own mind, we think that this world is more real than God. That's why this association with holy men will bring the discrimination that God alone is real and the world is unreal. Unreal means it is a relatively speaking maya, wherein which is constantly in a flux. You cannot define what it is. Based on absolute reality, you can define relativity. Without absolute reality, there cannot be any relativity. All these things we can understand only by associating ourselves with holy men, wherein Sri Ramakrishna says, you will get the discrimination, viveka, then you will know what is real and unreal. The moment one knows what is real, definitely he will leave the unreal, hold on to the real. There solves the problem. So, Sri Ramakrishna says, one can have that longing just by associating oneself with the divine. Even a momentary association will solve. If persons are of great magnitude, great spiritual stature of like Swami Brahmananda, Buddha, Sri Ramakrishna, momentary influence can change the life. Not only here, even in the life of, if you see the Saint Francis of Assisi, he was earlier a famous son of a rich man, but seeing the lepers, patients of leprosy, seeing the lepers, he had the idea to serve these people. He left his house naked, came out in the marketplace, left all the belongings, pronounced that he wanted to renounce. Then he started serving the lepers. There is an order of monks in Christianity called the Francis of Assisi, wherein they take this poverty as the greatest virtue. They have a coarse cloth, have very little for their food, and a very coarse bed for their sleeping. The poverty is the one of the important virtue for these monks of order of Assisi. He once, walking from one town to another town, on the way, the road was infested with robbers. The people of the town cautioned him, saying, you take some other route so that you can avoid those robbers. But he insists, Assisi insists, and just takes the same road which he was taking. As expected, these robbers attacked Francis of Assisi. Then they question, what is the valuable thing that you possess? Please give us. He says, I have most valuable thing in this world which you don't have. Hearing these words, they started searching his clothes. To their utter disappointment, they could get nothing. Then said, what is that which you say most valuable thing? He says, I have pure love in me. I love you people as I love my mother. I have such a love for you as I love my mother. Though they have come to rob him, he says, I have such a valuable thing called pure love, which I love my mother. In the same way, I love you robbers. Hearing the word and seeing the man and inspired by his words, which comes out of pure love, they fell at his feet, became monks of Francis of Assisi. A momentary word of Assisi changed the robbers into monks. This is what holy men can bring. Even if we can remember Ambapali, she came in the evening, sat and saw Buddha giving the sermon, just followed him and asked him, Buddha, great God, please come to Bhiksha tomorrow to my house. You should know that she was a fallen woman. She was a courtesan. Then Buddha told, yes, definitely I will come to your house. Next day Buddha came in spite of opposition by the people of the society. Buddha came to the house of Ambapali. Ambapali offered everything to him, including the wonderful palace, money, gold. And Buddha says, I am a monk, what can I do with this? Ambapali says, I have renounced everything, I don't want it. Buddha says, this does not belong to me. She says, this does not belong to me because I have renounced it. She came to such a level of renunciation just by hearing one word or few words of Buddha. Just she came, saw, heard, and got influenced, and she became a nun in the monastery of Buddha. This is Ambapali. That's why Raja Maharaj, while speaking with Swami Aparananda, says, man's mind is forever restless. You should give attention to the words. He says, forever restless. He does not say, once on occasions it will be restless. No. Man's mind is forever restless. What is the solution? It remains distracted for many reasons. Association with the holy will bring it under control. Live in the society of holy people and follow their advice. If you do, you will be saved from much grief and trouble. If your mind does not become absorbed in God, it will be impossible for you to protect yourself from the many temptations of the world. By His grace, may your mind be directed toward the reality. Unless one is strong in His in His strength, one cannot save oneself from the network of Maya. Be strong in His strength. Raja Maharaj says, be strong in His strength. This word for anybody is for an ideal life. I am always speaking with respect to ideal life. With respect to a spiritual struggling soul. It is very difficult. It's not an easy thing to have an ideal and to struggle for that infinity. So, always things of the world will be distracting. One can gain strength only by his strength. This is Raja Maharaj says. Once, if I want to give an example, it's already 6:35, 5 more minutes. Just to conclude, one young man, he often used to visit Belur Math during Raja Maharaj's time only. He was a young romantic man. He writes in his reminiscences, I am a young romantic man, young man. He came to Belur Math only because these monks of mission used to serve the people, poor people, and give education to illiterates. So he thought this will help for the national freedom struggle. He was very much interested in the freedom struggle. He didn't know anything about God. He didn't know anything about spirituality. He has not met any saints. But he wanted to serve the country, and hence mission monks were interested with respect to education and society. So he used to visit Belur Math. Once or twice, from far away, he has seen Raja Maharaj, Swami Brahmanji, and nobody else. After some time, he felt like joining the mission. He joined as a brahmachari to the mission, and he writes, he didn't know how to pray. When he joined, Raja Maharaj was not in Belur Math, he was in Bhubaneswar. Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivanji, was there in Belur Math. So he came, joined. He used to pray, "Oh God, if there is God, some say you exist. Some say God does not exist. Some say God is personal, Sakara. Some say you are impersonal, means Nirakara. If you are there, please show me, please give your divine presence. This is the way he used to pray. Somehow he was there as a brahmachari in Ramakrishna mission at Belur Math. Raja Maharaj came. He saw Raja Maharaj one day. It was customary whenever Brahmaji Maharaj is in Belur Math, all the novices should sit both morning and evening for meditation in his room only, not in the temple. One brahmachari used to say, I will sit in Swamiji's temple and meditate. Raja Maharaj used to say, so you want to go to Supreme Court and complain there? It's not necessary. You come and sit in front of me and meditate. I will see how you will meditate. Not necessary to go to Supreme Court. Then this brahmachari, there was not much space. You should have seen Belur Math. It's a small room. Now nobody can see Raja Maharaj's room. It is locked. Only we monks can go there. It's a small room. Outside there's a portico. He used to sit in the portico and he doesn't know how to meditate. He has not taken initiation. He was just sitting and seeing other sadhus doing meditation. He used to feel some sort of tranquility and wonderful peace and thought to himself, how come without meditating I am experiencing this peace? A thought came. Let us see if I can harbor some evil ideas or bad thoughts. He started thinking on some bad things. He wanted to test the place and that peace. The moment that evil thought arose, either he used to feel restlessness in the body, he has to get up and go away, or the very thought was getting suppressed. He tried for the 3 days. 4th day, Raja Maharaj called him and told him, if you want to test me, you test me when I am alone. Don't do these practices when you are sitting in a group meditation. Your very thoughts of evil things will affect others and you have to experience evil effects of your evil thoughts sitting in the company of a holy man. Beware, never test. If you want to test me, sit in front of me and test me. This brahmachari, though experienced such thing, he could not really believe in these things. Monks of the mission were telling, if one is sincere, definitely one can see Sri Ramakrishna. He thought, how is it possible? Sri Ramakrishna passed long ago. These monks, day and night, simply have heard something, meditating on the same thing, and they are in a state of hallucination. They doesn't know anything. Nobody can see Sri Ramakrishna. This was his mental condition. Then he thought to himself one day, sitting in the shrine, he thought, suppose he was seeing the copper urn which Swamiji has installed the urn in the shrine, saying, Sri Ramakrishna will reside here for 1500 years to come. Seeing the urn, he says, if Sri Ramakrishna stays here, then this moment I should hear the jingling sound, the anklets of Lord Krishna. That very moment he hears the sound, the anklets sound of Krishna. He was confused whether is it a hallucination of the mind or is really I heard it. Confused, he came down. 2 days he was in the same thought. Then again he wanted to test Sri Ramakrishna. This time he thought, instead of having some mental abstract concept, I should have something which is very much physical. So when he was sitting for early morning meditation, he thought, at this hour, if a fisher woman comes here it is upstairs. You should know the shrine is upstairs. If she comes downstairs and shouts with a particular name of a fish, I will consider Sri Ramakrishna is sitting here. Then that very moment a woman came and started shouting the name of a fish. Hearing the words, the Swami who was the in charge of the kitchen ran and shouted, and he asked that lady to leave the campus because she is disturbing the morning meditation. Very much ashamed, this brahmachari came down. That moment, near the steps, Raja Maharaj is standing. He says, how long you want to test Sri Ramakrishna? Till how long you want to test Sri Ramakrishna? Never test Sri Ramakrishna like this. Lead a pure life and enjoy the bliss. This is not the way to test here. If you want, you lead a pure life. There are so many wonderful incidents with respect to this holy name, association and other things. So, Raja Maharaj says, if you want to stay here, do as I say. Never try to test Sri Ramakrishna. So, these are all the words of Divine Trio, who are all ever present, only it needs a fertile soil, at least to some extent, to understand the divinity. Hence, we need places like Sri Ramakrishna Ashrama and a place like this temple, wherein one who wants to really experience should be very sincere. There is nothing else apart from this. With this, I conclude and thank you. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.